Matchmaker.fm connects podcasters and guests. Welcome to Matched, the show where we talk to some of the most incredible guests available for an interview right now. I'm your host, James Mulvany, founder of Matchmaker.fm, and this is Matched.
Hi, I'm Willy Kosovich. You can find me on Matchmaker.fm.
How's it going, Willy?
It's going all right. What about you?
Yeah, good. Okay, if you could meet one dead celebrity, who would you choose to meet?
Oh, that's really hard. Maybe David Bowie.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's weird that I just did a podcast actually about Bob Marley, or Bob Marley song, and it made me appreciate this album that David Bowie did right before he died. It came out like 2 days before he died, and I don't know, it just made me appreciate kind of his approach to everything, and I think he'd be really nice to meet.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, second question. Are you a traveller or a homeboy?
Traveller. I am currently about as far away from my home as I could be. I'm from New Zealand and I'm living in Berlin, Germany, so
right.
Definitely a traveller.
Definitely a traveller.
Obviously at the moment, stay home. Actually, I bought a fire truck, and my wife's from the UK, so we've gone over there once, and we'll be going over again at Christmas. We'll drive over.
What's a fire truck?
As opposed to flying. Oh, like an old German fire truck, like one of these big.
Right, like a fire engine.
Yeah, like an early Sprinter. You know these Sprinter, Mercedes Sprinter? Oh yeah. Like an early one, so kind of like a vintage fire truck.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
Turning it into a camper, and yeah. It's my wife's plan. All my best ideas have come from my wife. Yeah,
it sounds like something you like. One of they could take to like festivals and sell food from, like one of these food trucks. That would be cool.
We can stand up in it, which is good. I think the first one we were going to buy, the guy bought it to make a food truck, and he was like 6'4", and he's like, I didn't think this through. I can't actually stand up in it. And imagine working all day like that, serving food. It'd be horrible.
Most camper vans I've been in, you can't stand up, and I'm quite tall, and I'm always like, you're just like that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can stand up in mine. I'm like 5'11", 5'11 and a half, something like that, and I can stand up in mine, which is really nice. But yeah, I don't know about all of them, being able to stand up in all of them. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so for people who don't know, who are watching, tell us a little about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, I'm a comedian, co-founder, podcaster, filmmaker, production professional, gamer, streamer, husband, list lover. And I mainly teach people how comedy can make them better humans.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how did you kind of get into that?
I started doing comedy in English in Germany, which was obviously a dumb idea. Can I swear on this or no?
Yeah, why not?
All right, it was a shit idea. So I just realized there was like a ceiling. Like you could make money, but you'd have to make money promoting shows, and I was more into performing. Yeah. And so I just approached a friend who was a facilitator and said, hey, do you think we could make a workshop teaching people how to do comedy, but not teaching people how to do comedy who want to get on stage, just more so learning the lessons of comedy? Because for me, since starting comedy, it's helped me with a lot of different things. Yeah. And so I felt like I could kind of translate that into initially the business world. My company's called Comedy for Companies, but then that's kind of shifted a little bit as well to be kind of for anyone, not just for companies. It could be one-on-one. It could be, we also do teach people how to get on stage. But initially it started with, I guess, someone who thinks they're not funny, being able to show them that they're funny, and being able to show them kind of tips and tricks that comedians will use and how they can apply them to their everyday life, I guess.
Do you reckon every single business should sort of take some ideas from that? Because I think,
100%.
I was looking at your website, and, obviously part of your sort of messages, there's so much kind of corporate BS out there. Like when people write emails, they're so dry and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But also I think there's so many organizations, particularly when you think about like corporate organizations, that are absolutely petrified of giving people any kind of freedom or creative control over what they say. Yeah. So is it something that really, there is a huge benefit to?
I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously it has to work within the messaging of your company. Like if you're a bank, people generally probably don't want you to make jokes because, well, my livelihood, my money, my pension, my future is in your hands, and I just want you to be boring bankers. I don't want you to be clowns. So, but you can still play with that a little bit, even if not just with your, external messaging, kind of with your internal or with your other workmates or things like that. You can still be a fun company to kind of work for, if you will. I've worked with insurance companies, and they've told me, like, we want to be the insurance people that, like, our clients want to have a beer with, because that's what they would want. They want to have a beer with their clients. They don't want to be stuck up, right? They just wanted to be people. And so they wanted to find that, like, nice balance between being professional and having people trust them and stuff, but also be able to be themselves, have a joke, have a laugh. I think it's really important.
Awesome. And so what do you think, you kind of got into podcasting? Tell us about your podcast and how did you start out podcasting?
My podcast is with a friend and I. He's a musician. It's an idea I had for a long time. And I started it a few years ago with one friend, and then she left and went back to New Zealand. We did about 2 or 3 episodes, and it's this idea that I've had, and then I thought, okay, lockdown, people need more content. I was working full time up until about halfway through this year. I lost my job, so I was like, I have a bit more time for side projects. I was like, I'm going to do this podcast, and so I just messaged another musician friend that I had. And we just pick a song that's been covered a lot, and then we go through and kind of pick the best covers. Cool. But that was just something that I've had in the back of my head. I should do this. I should do this. I should do this. And my friend Will was really keen. He loves Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash put out like 4 or 5 cover albums right before he died. So like just about every episode, he's like, "Oh, there's a Johnny Cash cover for this. There's a Johnny." So it's essentially we're just listening to Johnny Cash podcast. But I think it's a lot of fun. Like, we don't take it too seriously. There's a little bit of in-depth music stuff. We make like a little playlist on Spotify for people to listen along to. A bit like those Disney books, when you used to have the sound to turn the page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have like the sound to play the song, and just I don't know. We're only 3 episodes in, but it's a lot of fun. We just drink some beers and talk some music.
Yeah. So would you recommend podcasting as a way to, obviously you're kind of a creative kind of guy. Is it a good way of expressing creativity, would you say? Is that sort of why you got into it?
Definitely. I mean, for me, it's a medium that I like to listen to. I listen to a lot of podcasts. For me, mainly probably laughing, a bit of learning. And so that's kind of what I try to bring as well. So I guess as I'm listening kind of throughout, I think creative people are doing that all the time when they're consuming stuff, is like taking stuff on here and there, what works, what doesn't, what they like. And for me, it's been great, just kind of the researching and working out like the structure of the whole thing and how it can work. And I've really enjoyed it so far. Can't wait to do more.
Excellent. And what was the reason you decided to sign up to Matchmaker?
I was on a few podcasts before, and I was wondering how I could get on more. And I was kind of looking around, searching for different podcasts that would maybe be in that right lane, but it was kind of a bit of a strain to find them. And then I just found Matchmaker. I was like, oh, there must be an easy way. They found Matchmaker, and there was an easier way. Thanks, Matchmaker. If you can just PayPal me that money, that'd be good.
Sure.
But no, it's been really nice so far. I've even put some of my own money towards the project. Like I'm a founder.
Excellent.
I believe in it. It's nice. Yeah.
Did you join as a way of pushing your own podcast, or is it more a way to kind of raise awareness of your business, or
no? I didn't have my podcast yet when I joined.
Oh, okay.
I guess for me, I thought I could add some value to other people's, like when I've been on other people's podcasts. I think what I do is quite interesting, and I think everyone can kind of benefit from it. So yeah, it wasn't to sell my business, if you will. If business comes along, cool. I think most of my business comes through word of mouth, not so much like any marketing or cold emails or anything like that. So I guess just the more people that know me, the more people potentially can, tell others about me, and
Well, I think that's kind of what podcasting is about, isn't it? It's like you don't have to necessarily be like the big pushy salesman when you go on podcasts. No. You know, you can kind of name drop your business, or you know, people then might Google you afterwards or whatever. But I think podcasting is just a fantastic way to just, you know, share your knowledge, share what you're passionate about. And to sort of do it in a kind of, you know, it's almost like, you know, you can kind of sell your expertise, but in a kind of cool way. So it's not like, you know, you're expected to be like, you know, blah blah blah, buy now or whatever.
No, I mean,
you know, it's a more laid back approach.
Yeah, I wouldn't really respond to that personally, so I try not to do that either. You know, I think people, like, I wouldn't go and, you know, search straight away when I see someone's on a podcast. I'd listen to them and hear what they've got to say, and if I like what they've got to say, then I'm like, okay, what else do they do, or how can I, you know, engage with, or
What advice would you give to someone who's maybe thinking of starting a podcast, or, you know, they want to appear on other people's podcasts?
Starting a podcast, I mean, it's maybe a bit cliche, but I guess just do it. Like, you can think about it maybe a bit too much, and there's these studios in Berlin that have kind of just popped up, and you can just book them, and they're just like a podcast room, and that's super easy. So, you know, don't go in and buy all the best microphones and get too caught up in all that. I think just there'll be somewhere where you can record something, and just have a bit of a topic, and whether it's just you or with a friend or with a guest, I don't know. But yeah, try not to think too much about it. I know some of my favorite podcasts kind of have these recurring jokes or segments, or kind of, I found doing mine, just let those happen. You know, like don't try to force, okay, now we're going to do the segment that's this. And if it doesn't work and you're forcing it, then I think just do it and kind of learn as you go. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah,
okay. And that makes a lot of sense. So, you know, it's interesting you say about this. You like sometimes having these formats, like these quirky little features, because, you know, again, that's just something that I sometimes talk about. Is a lot of podcasts you don't have to have this linear format. I think it can be really interesting if you can split it up into sections. So there could be something that you talk about. You know, you have like a serious discussion, but then there could be elements of comedy. And I always think about it like a radio show. You know, if you listen to a radio show, it's not literally the same from beginning to end. You'll have different features and things. So you can play around with different ideas, find out what works, and also then what sort of comes naturally to you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be super scripted. But then if you find one week that something feels good, and then the following week you're recording another episode and you want to put a variant on that, well, suddenly you've got yourself a little feature and you can kind of run with it.
Yeah. I guess it's the same with like startups, right? You know, just MVP, get it out, and just like reiterate as you go. It's the same with a comedian, you know, get on stage and tell the joke. If it doesn't work, go back, rewrite it. It's like, I always tell the story of, you know, whoever your favorite comedian is, they don't just get on stage at Wembley, right? They go to the little tiny open mics and they work on their stuff, or they don't just sit in their bedroom and then go straight to Wembley. You know, like they work just like anyone else. Just kind of work on it as you go. It doesn't have to be perfect from the start.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Willy, thanks very much for your time. Just to finish up, if people want to find out more about you, what you do, if people want to tune into your podcast, how can they get in touch?
You can email me at arnold@comforcom.website if you'd like. Don't ask. I mean, or ask. Why such a weird email? I guess, we're just trying to be weird and try to bring something funny into kind of every element of business, if you will. So it's arnold@comforcom.website. You can find me on Instagram at the.antigram. It's mainly my empty plates, because I found people on Instagram were just taking photos of their food, so I was taking photos for after. And then also, my podcast, Cover Your Tracks, which you can go to pod.co/CYT, cover your track CYT,
Awesome.
and listen to that. Yeah.
All right, Willy, thanks very much. Great to speak to you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
There is an easier way to get booked onto more podcasts as a guest. Join Matchmaker.fm for free today and start making connections with podcasters who are looking for guests just like you.